Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we're going to be talking about volume, and we're going to specifically talk about volume of prisms. At this time, please make sure that you have your vocabulary packet as well as your notebook. Our target today is I can calculate the volume of a prism. First of all, let's talk about what volume is. Well, volume is the measure of space inside a three-dimensional figure. And so when I look at this is actually a rectangular prism. And the reason why it's called a rectangular prism is because it's got rectangle bases. And it's called a prism because it has 6 sides and the bases are straight across from each other. They're parallel to each other. They'll never intersect. Okay, and so this is, and I'll write this down for you, a rectangular prism. And we're going to also talk about later on a triangular prism, where the bases are triangles instead of rectangles. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out the space inside, first of all, a rectangular prism. And we're going to talk about what the formula looks like. And so volume, I know in the past for you learned that in order to find volume, you would take length times width times height, which is true. That is basically what we're going to do. But our formula is going to look a little different than just length times width times height. It is going to have a capital B, and the capital B actually stands for area of the base. Now the reason why we changed the wording of this is because the base is not always a rectangle or a square where you can do length times width. It's not always that shape. It could be a triangle, it could be a hexagon, it could be a pentagon, it could be all these different shapes. And so we need to make sure that we change the formula so that you can actually start finding the volume of different prisms, not just a rectangular prism. And so in your notes, I actually want you to copy down this formula, because this is what you would see on a formula sheet to help you out. So the capital B stands for area of base, and the H still stands for height. Okay? And notice it's still lowercase h because it's just the height of the figure. Now, let's talk about what are we going to do then to figure out the volume of this. Well, if I want to find the volume of this figure and I'm taking the area of the base times the height, well, first of all, we need to look at the base and figure out what shape it is. Well, in this case, we have a rectangle as our shape, and I am going to actually just draw a rectangle. And so I know right away that the area, to find the area of a rectangle, it is length times width. So I'm going to make that note, and I want you to always make a note also in homework. I want you to either draw the shape and put the formula inside of it, or I want you to write out rectangle and then put the formula next to it. But either way, I want you to always make note of what shape the base is. Now the base is always the one that is flat and it's across from another one. And in a rectangular prism, I mean, they're all flat and they're all across from each other. So it really doesn't matter which one you choose. You still will get the same answer. So if I choose this bottom rectangle as being my base, that means this top one also is, they're across from each other. Do you notice how they'll never touch? And so notice the bottom has a length and a width. The length is 11.9 inches and the width is 6.5 inches. Now, the other side that is important to us is the height. Like, how tall is this prism? And so we look at how is it resting right now and think about how tall is it? Well, it is 7.6 inches. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take area of the base. Well, in order to find the area of a rectangle, we said we had to do length times width. So let's do that. Length is 11.9 times 6.5. That's length times width. And then we're going to multiply by the height, which is 7.6. Now notice, basically all we're doing is we're taking those three numbers and we're multiplying them together. And so I, for sure, am going to use a calculator for this. I don't want you wasting time trying to do it by hand. I actually want you to just use a calculator so that we can focus more on the formula itself and so that you're practicing the formula over and over and over again. So it's okay to use a calculator. And so we get an answer of 587.86. And I'm going to always make my answer probably to the hundredths place. This is the hundredths place, 2 places past. This answer actually goes to the hundredths place, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But if it went past it, then I would have to look at the number to the right and see is it 5 or higher, because that would make me round up. Or if it's lower than 5, I would keep the 6 the same. And now notice we multiplied how many numbers together? 3. So that means we multiply 3 units of measurement. Inch times inch times inch. And so we're going to put now a little 3. And what that means is now it is called cubic inches. And so all of our answers are going to be labeled with cubic something, cubic centimeters, cubic, meters, whatever we're working with. And we're going to always do that for volume because volume means we're going to always multiply 3 things together. Okay? Let's do another one. Now this one though, notice, this is called a triangular prism. It is called a triangular prism because look, the base, it has a triangle shape. So this triangle is also a triangle over on this side, and they're parallel to each other. They'll never touch. That's what makes them a prism. Okay? And so when we're looking at this, we're going to use the same formula, but it's going to be a little bit different because we got to find the area of a triangle. And so I'm going to draw, remember, just like I said on your homework, I want you to draw whatever the base is, whatever shape it is. In this case, it's a triangle. And what's the formula of a triangle? Area is equal to 1/2. 1/2 what? 1/2 times base times height. Okay? And so we're going to use that information to figure out this problem. So what we're going to do, remember, area of the base is first, then times the height of the whole figure. That means if I stand the figure up, like if I stand this prism upright, how tall would it be from base to base? Well, it would be 60 centimeters. Okay, so notice this 10 on the outside. Do you notice it's straight up and down? Because what they did is they actually took the height for us. They figured out what the height is, and instead of drawing a dotted line, they drew it on the outside of the figure. So they're telling us that this height, because it's straight up and down and it's from base to the top, is 10. Okay, so let's figure this out. To find the volume, we're going to do area of the base times the height. So let's start off with area of the base. The base is a triangle, so we have to take 1/2 times, what's the base of just the triangle? The base of the triangle is 8 times the height of just the triangle is 10. So we're going to take 8 times 10, or we could take 1/2 of 8. Let's just do 1/2 of 8. What's 1/2 of 8? Is 4. And then 4 times 10 is 40. Nice job. So our area of the triangle is 40. And our last step is multiply the height of the whole thing. The height of the whole thing is 60. Well, we don't even need a calculator for this one. We could do 4 times 6 is 24. And how many zeros? 1, 2, 2 zeros. And remember, for volume, our label is not squared, it is cubed. Nice job. So our answer is 2,400 centimeters cubed. A company needs to decide which size lunchbox to manufacture. Which lunchbox shown will hold more food? So we're trying to figure out which one has more space. Well, we have rectangular prisms. So if we're trying to find, remember our base on both of them is what shape? Rectangle. Nice job. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So we're going to use that to find both of them. So we're going to take the area of the base times the height. Well, the base on these are, well, length times width. So we're going to take, on the first one, we're going to take 8 times 9.5, and we get 76. So we have 8 times 9.5. And so far we have 76, and then we're going to multiply by the height, 3.75. So let's multiply this by 3.75. And our answer is 285, and it's inches cubed. How about the next one? What do you get when you multiply? First of all, our length and width is 10. 10 times 3.75. And then we're going to multiply by the height, which is 7.5. So let's do 10 times 3.75 times 7.5. 281.25 inches cubed. So which one you can fit more in? This one, the red one. So the red one would be our answer because it has more volume. So we can fit a little bit more in there. What I would like for you to do, we're going to actually, so for our ticket problem, we're going to do 2 different ticket problems. So first of all, I would like for you to find the volume of this triangular prism. And then I would like you to find the volume of this rectangular prism. Okay, so we are going to have 2 ticket problems. So I'm going to actually bring this one over. And we're going to put it over on the other page so you can copy this down. So I want you to find the volume of this rectangular prism and this triangular prism. Thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again.